Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lulu La Vida. Today, we're having another easy recipe for like one of those days where you feel like comfort food. That's normally the way I feel about this recipe in itself. So here are the ingredients, guys. So we have some chicken tenderloins. They're skinless and boneless, easy. And then what we have here is flour. And what I did is I seasoned the flour with Nor Suiza from chicken bouillon. And then we have salt, pepper, and garlic powder, which is the Lulu seasoning, usually what I tend to add to my recipes. We mix that up. It's seasoning our flour. So what we're going to do is we're just going to coat our chicken tenders with this flour. And then we're going to have my seasoning here for we're gonna do mashed potatoes. So we have butter, which is like the gold blocks. I love butter, but it has to be butter, not margarine. And we got our about 8 potatoes, peeled potatoes. We got canned corn, and then we got our milk. And basically, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get a pot, and when I put the I forgot the oil. We're gonna put a pot with water, and we're gonna start boiling the water to add our potatoes, so we can do a creamy potato. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the chicken. So we're doing the chicken. See, I'm not putting them in any egg or milk or nothing. I'm just like sticking it in the flour and then just turning it around so that it can stick to it. You don't need to add anything to it. You just, twist it around this way, and then you see, just shake it up a little bit, and then it's done. So we're gonna have our pot here. We're gonna season it with a little bit of salt before we add our potatoes. And then here, the pan, our skillet is already hot, so we just add a little bit of oil, not so much. We don't need to overdo it with the oil. And then we have our chicken, which we're gonna add to our skillet. And basically, the time that you have to put it in on one side without flipping it, it's about total, I would say, 10 minutes on a medium heat. And just go ahead and cover your potatoes and let those do their own little magic. So like I said, 10 minutes on one side, okay? If you have a splat, so it won't splatter the oil, cover it up. I always do because I want to, avoid cleaning all the time, even though you still have to clean, but at least it protects from having oil everywhere. So we're going to do the 10 minutes, and then we're going to check on that. Remember, we're not going to turn them over. We let them work its magic, okay? So 10 minutes, let's check on these things and see. As you can see, they're mostly cooked through from one side. We're just going to turn them around, turn them over, flip them over, and you can see they're nice. They're not overly cooked. They're not dry. They're still moist. So we're just going to flip them to the other side. And I would say on this side, it's going to be less. I would say about 6 minutes. And just remember, your heat is going to be medium. Never have it high, because then you want to dry them up. And just cover them up again with the your top. And then here we're going to make a little salsa, like a little creamy salsa, to add a little bit of spice to our chicken tenderloins. So we got about 6 Serrano peppers. We have about 2 tomatoes and half an onion. So I already have those cut up in big chunks. And then we're going to have about 2 garlic cloves. So with that, that should be enough. But then remember, the Serrano depends on how spicy you like your salsa. You can add less, or if you want it more spicier, you can add more. For me, 6 to 2 is it's a good amount. 6 Serranos to 2 tomatoes. It's a good consistency. So now let's add our salsa to a little bit of oil. Here we're gonna start with our garlic first. We want to make sure that we roast those up. And then we're going to add our Serrano peppers. And then what we're going to do once we have those, we're going to let them start getting, immersed in the oil. Not so much. But then we're going to go ahead and just keep turning it, tossing it around until we get the consistency we want. We're going to go ahead and add our onions. And then now that we have our onions, we're going to go ahead and add Lulu seasoning to this, right? About two small little teaspoons, little tiny spoons that I keep. So we add two of those, and then we're just going to go ahead and mix that around, you know. Let's see, this is usually what I keep on my stove, all my seasonings and my tools, my utensils here. I like the wood stuff because it's not going to mess up your skillet, you know. And they're very inexpensive, you know, so you can always replace them. But so here we are, we're just mixing that around, and then we're just going to go ahead and wait till it's completely, you know, changed color. So you can see, you could smell this, it's spicy. Look at these garlic roasted. And I think we're ready to add our tomatoes. Our tomatoes are going to be the last thing you add to this, because what they do is they release a lot of water. So remember, always add the tomatoes last, because if not, it's going to get too mushy. Overcook them. You don't want that, you know. So just add them here for, I would say, about a minute, 2 minutes tops. And once those are cooked, then you can go ahead and put them on the blender. But just keep an eye on this, you know. Keep turning them. You don't want to overcook it, and also you don't want to burn your garlic, because it's going to have it's going to give you a bitter flavor. So you just keep an eye, monitor your garlic, make sure it's still, you know, it's not overly cooked or actually burned. So this is the what we're looking for to release all those juices, that flavor. And then look, we're almost done with our chicken. I think I did 2 batches of that. We're just waiting for the second batch to cook. And I think the potatoes should be done. So we're going to go ahead and turn off our heat, and then just drain our water. So we're going to go ahead and have everything ready to start our salsa. See, we got our blender, and I have my corn ready to put in the stove. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter, but remember, I like the butter to be room temperature for our mashed potatoes. And look, these are some of the chicken tenderloins that we cooked. I just keep them covered so we don't lose the heat, and they're moist. They're really good. And then I have my my blender, so we can start making our salsa. Okay, so we're not gonna add that much water. It's just a little bit of water, but look, that's the oil is what's gonna make it creamy. We just go ahead and add everything, including the oil that is released, and the little bit of juice from the tomatoes. See, it smells so good and spicy, just like I like it. And like I said, it's not gonna have that much water. Maybe I would say like just at the bottom, so it just blends up a little bit. Let me show you the water, how much I added to this so you guys can see. But look, here are the ingredients that we added, okay, the way they came up after we cooked them in the skillet. And then let me show you the much water I've added to this, because we don't want to make it too watery. It's going to lose its flavor. So we just add this much water. It's not that much, just a bit. And we don't need to season it anymore, because when we were cooking it in the skillet, we added plenty of Lulu seasoning. And one thing on this one, to make it creamy, we're not going to do the blender. We're just going to do pulse. And maybe we'll do about 5 to 6 pulses. See? Pulse about 6 times, 5 to 6 times. And then it's going to make it a creamy salsa. And I think that should be done. Just remember, it's a little hot. I didn't let it cool off yet. So just be careful when you open up your top. And then here, see, that's what we're looking for. Just something to add to our chicken tenders. So here we have our potatoes. As you can see, they're really hot. So we add our blocks of gold. I love butter. I really do. And I think that's one of the key recipes to a really good mashed potato. Don't be stingy with your butter, guys. Remember this. If you take something from this recipe, take this. Don't be stingy with butter. And remember, butter, not margarine. You don't want fake stuff. You want good stuff. Even though it's more expensive, it's worth it. Trust me on this, okay? When we add our milk and we add Lulu seasoning, remember, we season the stuff with Lulu seasoning. So now we're going to go ahead and start mashing it up. And then we're going to have the butter melt and mix with our milk and make mashy potatoes. So the light here is not doing justice, so I think I'm going to move it to the other side so you guys can see how nice and creamy these came up. I mean, we just need our gravy, but then again, I have a creamy salsa, so that should do the trick. But look at this, creamy potatoes, delicious, with the right seasoning. I mean, really, I mean, I could have used maybe half more butter, but it's okay. We had 2 to 8 potatoes. So that's our, we can always do a garlic potato recipe next time. So here we are. We plated this up. So we got our chicken tenders, a little bit of corn in the middle, and our mashed potatoes. Doesn't that look yummy? So now we have a little salsa on the side just to add this up. Look at the salsa, a little creamy salsa. Remember, because we added some of the oil to our blender, so it gives it this creamy texture. And I really, guys, hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.